This is the cheapest Ferrari 458 in the world. And for quite obvious reasons. I won this car at auction, and at first thought, I thought it might be an easy repair. So much so, I thought I might be able to rebuild this Ferrari within 7 days. Ferrari! Oh no! Oh my god, did we just waste 5 days? But this was going to be a huge challenge. Today is Sunday, the 7th of September. Let's see if we can do this. This is going to be my first ever Ferrari. And what a Ferrari this is. The 458 is a successor to the F430, which we've already previously rebuilt and then I gave to my dad as a surprise.
I really like this car.
It is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually really like this car. It's a very good looking car and it's a very good sounding car as well.
It does sound good. And that's because this is one of the last naturally aspirated V8s Ferrari ever did. And the roof comes off. It does, because this 458 is the Spider, which actually makes it more desirable. The photo of the car, the wheel was connected. And then when it arrived here, the wheel disconnected. So, yeah, everything in there looks bad. I'm slightly worried what's behind this door because the door looks like it's tucked behind the A-pillar. The door doesn't open, the handles come off, which makes me think that handle probably wasn't off until someone tried to open the door and pulled it off. The rear quarter's bad. It looks like some damage to this rear suspension. And inside is a whole different story. There's an ecosystem in there. But before we start anything, we need to get this car inside on the skates and start stripping it apart and find out how much damage there actually is. If we've got any hope on rebuilding this in 7 days, because I am excited to have this car. So sick. I can only assume that either the roof or the windows weren't properly latched when this car was sat at auction, and that's what's caused the mould in the interior. But I still think it'll clean up. We've just got to get the 458 on some wheels now so we can get it inside the workshop, where hopefully it'll only stay for the next 7 days. Yes! First things first, this car was sold as a non-runner, and there's no reason why this car shouldn't run because none of the damage is at the engine. But Ferraris don't have pyro fuses. Well, at least I don't think this one does. It has an inertia switch, which I think we just need to press down. It should be inside. Getting in that is a biohazard, and the battery's in the passenger side footwell. First thing, I'm just going to give it a quick spray and clean in there because I think it's got a little bit damp and there's we'll give it a quick spray, then we'll put some power to the battery, see if we can get this car started. Let's go. Getting in that car is not going to be ideal for anyone, so first things first, let's try and wipe away a bit of this mould, then let's get it started. Go on. It's proper stuck in it. Will the window go down? Yes. This door was well and truly stuck.
Oh.
Right, now do it, go. Oh! But with a bit of force, it finally opened. And to let the interior air out even more, yes! We managed to get the roof open. Yeah! With the roof off and the 2 doors open, we've now got much better access to the back of the seat and the rest of the interior that we need to clean out. But I do need to inspect the damage on the inside of that passenger door, but we can do that later. For now, let's try and get it started. Just here, just there, that is an inertia switch, and what that does, when the Ferraris have an accident and the airbags deploy, that pops up and cuts fuel going to the engine to try and stop fires, like a pyro fuse. All I have to do is press it down. And now, if we've got enough battery power, the car should actually start. This inertia switch is pretty clever. The switch is always pressed down until it takes a hit.
The switch activates and now this button is in the up position.
And when the button's in the up position, it cuts the power going to the fuel pump to prevent fires after an accident. 16,000 miles.
Which is new. It's brand new. It's literally brand new.
It's good.
Ready? So now that we've pressed it down, we should be able to crank the car and get it to start. Ready again? But nothing. It didn't even crank. The jumper pack was saying that the battery that was on the car was completely dead. It was so bad that it almost wasn't registering. So I went to work at removing it, then I can order a new one, and in the meantime, I put the jumper cables directly onto the connections which would usually go on the battery. And then Liam connected the other side of the jumper cables
Here we go.
to our slave battery that we had in the unit.
Action.
But still nothing. So alongside the slave battery, we had the jumper pack on it as well for extra power.
Come on, key on. And foot on the brake. And engine start.
But again, nothing.
I don't think these have got a pyro fuse. The only thing we could do is wait for the new battery to arrive. But then, if we strip it, then it might start after the strip. I don't think there's a pyro fuse in it.
To eliminate that we had any resistance in those jumper cables, we decided to put the slave battery that we had in the unit and connect it directly up to the terminals on the car instead.
That's a full-on truck battery in there now. Like an absolute diesel beast. Ready? Ignition. Oh, sound good.
Sounded better.
Silly beeping. Come on. Oh, that did more.
It definitely did more. Still not going.
Oh, yes! It went! Yes! Oh my god! It's smoking! Yes! Come on! Yes! Yes! Oh, it sounds good. Yes. Come on! It worked, but we do have a fair amount of fault codes on the dash. Ah! Yeah! That's a standard exhaust. Well, at least I think it's standard. Let's do it. What? Wow! Is that the fan? Is that the fan? I think the fan turned on.
The fan's just yeeted itself in here, look.
Oh yeah, the fan come on and started trying to send stuff around the room.
Well, it started.
Well,
That's
good.
the main thing.
Started. High five. Good news. Right. Now, I think we just got to start stripping. The engine seems all good, but we can't run it to temperature just yet because the radiators are damaged at the front. But now we're about to find out how damaged the 458 truly is after we start removing all of the trims covering over the frame at the front end. Out comes the tub, and now we can start seeing the frame. And there's definitely a lot of broken and bent parts there. Every time we remove something, we add it to a list that we need to buy. And because they made a fair few of these 458s, and it's a 2013 car, parts shouldn't be that hard to find, which should help us in trying to rebuild this within 7 days.
Looks like I'm gonna have to take the side skirt off actually to get this all out.
I'm also going to have to remove these side skirts to access the rear quarter as well. So, off it comes. I couldn't access the last bolt because I need to remove the rear wheel to get to it, but it should be enough just to get the front wing off now.
Look at that. That's a weld onto the bracket. You watch this. They've welded, they've put bolts in and welded
What is that weld doing realistically?
to hold that in. Look.
Yeah, but like, what is that doing? That did nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
They've just gone happy with the welder, ain't they? They're just like, oh, do you want me to just put a little tack weld on that? Are you sure those bolts are going to hold it in? And they've just
That's wild.
literally rammed in a little weld there.
Put this weld on to hold the spaces in place.
Ah, yeah, so they don't drop down.
so they don't drop down.
That's what they've done, yeah. That is proper Ferrari. If we did that, we would get called a bodge. But they've put spacers and a tack weld in to make sure the wing line's up with the door.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is the first time really we've done any kind of structural work to a Ferrari. On my dad's one, mainly it was rebuilding the engine and gearbox, and a lot of the body panels were okay. So now we're finding it quite interesting how this car is built together. And it's very Italian, unlike the Lamborghinis, which have their Italian quirks, but are essentially just built by the Germans now.
Whoa! Well, there's no aircon in that anymore.
Professionals have been in and let the aircon gas out. If I'm honest, I didn't think there was any in because look at the state of the radiator. This front left radiator pack looks like it's seen better days, but the aircon condenser was holding aircon gas, which is good news. But before we buy anything, I want to see what's savable and what isn't. Well, it's safe to say the welds on that are interesting because I barely touched that. I kind of feel like there'd been better gluing that on.
Do you know, like when you think of Ferrari, you think of like really high quality.
Well, like, look at that. So this is welded on, but the weld is like literally only a little dribble. They're not actually complete welds.
And that literally holds your front end on.
Yeah, it holds a wing on. That, and the bonnet. That's mad. Look at that. Blob, blob, blob. I reckon that would just pull off. But I think I'm gonna leave it there just in case we need to reference where it goes. Enzo Ferrari said, you pay for the engine and the gearbox and everything else is free.
I like it.
It's starting all to make sense. But let's keep stripping the damaged parts off. So the good news is coolant's coming out of this side, which means we may have a good radiator this side. Well, that's what I was hoping. A few bolts to get it out, then we can inspect it. Oh no! 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 There was a small hole in the radiator, but there is potential we might be able to fix that later. Now we've got all the front end exposed, time to take a look at this suspension. On the right hand side, the driver's side, this frame is broken. I've looked, you can buy this frame separate and keep this. I'm hoping we could keep that, but I want to keep it all in place at the minute, just so we've got a reference of where it goes, because this, you can see, is welded and joined together. So I would like to weld that side on whilst having this side on, just so we've got some form of reference, and then take this side off. I feel like that would be a better way, rather than just ripping it all off and then starting from scratch. Also, suspension on this side. Top arm, broken. That's definitely broken. And then you've got the steering rack here, and the inner tie rod, that's also broken. We should be able to get this gaiter off, and then unwind this inner tie rod. Hopefully there's no damage to the steering rack. What's this lower arm saying then? What do you reckon?
I mean, it's took a nice whack here. It's like it's got some damage.
I think we might.
But like these, you can never really tell like how much they're bent by.
I think we should replace that. Yeah. So let's whack this off, whack that off. Yeah, let's keep going. As we've experienced, it's always best to replace most of the suspension if it's had an impact on that side. Yay! With it being aluminium, it's really difficult to see whether there's any bends or twists in it until you get it on an alignment rack. So let's get all of the wishbones off of this right hand side and get them all replaced. I'm just hoping the shock absorber's okay. So that's a pretty expensive bit of kit, which is made by Öhlins, the same company which makes the suspension which goes on the SVJ. And just like most Italian cars, when you remove the wishbone, you find even more spaces and shims behind it all. These ones here, which sit behind the wishbone, are their way of adjusting the tracking on the car. And it's a good job we removed it all. We can see a bent tab here. Oh no.
What?
Oh no.
Is it broken?
The steering rack's bent.
Oh, it
Look
is.
at it.
Look at that.
Oh no.
Is it really bent?
Yes, it looks like a banana. £1,124. And it looks okay. We're unsure whether it was meant to be bent down like that, but this is all I've got, look. Lock. Lock. Yeah, that's bent.
What if it's only got a short mat block?
It goes straight and left. That's all that.
Liam cracked on at getting the left side suspension on.
Time to get the door off. This door needs to come off because, as you can see, it is damaged.
This door definitely isn't savable. It's aluminium, so we're just going to replace it.
2.
Yeah. which means we've also got to find a door for sale. And with that off, it looks like that's all for day one.
Today is Monday, and if we've got any chance of getting this car done by the end of the week, we need to get the seat belts out, because instead of buying new ones, we can get these reset. These are locked out because someone was probably sat in here when the airbag's deployed, and that holds them back in the seat to stop them from getting an airbag to the jaw. So we got to get these seat belts out, which means seats out, panels out, both sides. Then we can send these off, and hopefully they'll arrive back by the time we start building this back up. Let's get them out.
The good news, there's only 2 belts.
It's not good. You can't drive a car like that, can you, Matt?
No.
The bad news is that they're pretty difficult to get to. First thing we've got to do is remove the seats. There's 4 bolts holding them in, and once I can lift it up a bit, I can unbolt the seat belt from the actual seat and remove that part. Then I'm going underneath the seat to disconnect the electrical connection, and after that, I should be able to pull the seat out of the car. And same on the other side.
And while the young lads are doing that, the older lad is going to take the steering rack out.
You're not that much older.
Yeah, he is.
And my dad got on with removing the steering rack, which was bolted to the chassis of the car, whilst me and Liam started removing all of the trims which were covering up the seatbelt. We had to take the roof down again so we could access some bolts to take out the leather, and now we can see where the actual seatbelt mounts inside the car. There's 2 bolts holding that in, and just the electrical connector to remove from it.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Have you just broke that?
No, they're not broken. No.
Broke? That looks like it's broke. Is that broken?
No.
Is that broken?
He took yours out?
Not yet.
I'll watch her. I'll watch her. After I'd fixed the electrical connection, which apparently I broke, Liam decided he didn't want to touch the electrical connection on the other side and let my dad do it. And again, that one dropped to pieces as well. But luckily, they're both fixable. Then the seatbelt can come out. And this is the explosive part that we're going to be resetting. All we've got to do, pass them over to the seatbelt lady, and she'll post them to the airbag team.
What's going on down here, Tony?
Do you know how old I am? Right, we're taking out the column bolt, which is in there, look. Can you see that bolt, look, that I've undone?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. No, well, that's what's coming out next.
This will disconnect the steering column from the steering rack.
Yay, there it is.
That will allow my dad to pull away the steering rack and remove it from the car. Because that is definitely bent.
Rear quarter, we're not going to start hacking at this just yet because we don't have the new one or second-hand one which I've ordered. So there's definitely some kind of suspension damage back here. So I'm going to take this off. Along with that, we need to see if there's any more damage under here. The rear bumper needs to come off. So me and Liam are going to start attacking the rear end. So far, we've not fixed anything. But that stage will come.
Let's find out what's broken on this rear left suspension. First, we need to get the wheel off. And we can see the top arm is clearly bent, and also the rear towing arm is bent as well. Luckily, this car doesn't have any rear wheel steer, so these arms should be pretty cheap. And you can see on the right hand side, that's how it's supposed to look. I removed the arch lining to see if there was any more damage behind it, and unfortunately it does look like some of the frame is bent, which holds the quarter on as well. Then I removed the other part of the arch lining, and that gave me access to the bolt that I needed to undo to finally remove that side skirt away from the car. And looking under this side of the car, it doesn't actually look like there's any hidden damage there, which is good. Next thing we need to do is remove the bumper, and to do that I've got to undo the diffuser first. I've undone the bolts and Liam's pulled it out the way.
We didn't get too lucky because this brake disc has also got a crack in it here, look. Yeah, we're gonna need a brake disc. Not good.
Not ideal. We know how expensive these carbon discs can be, and we also know how fragile they are. So it's definitely worth inspecting them just to make sure. Now that we've got the bumper off, we can start removing some of the engine cover. And we're slowly finding more and more quirks of this Ferrari.
No way.
Like all the spacers and washers that Ferrari use when assembling it to make all the panels line up. With the bolts removed, we can pull off the rear panel, which revealed to us some damage to the frame at the back. But we're hoping that's all of it.
We think we are fully through all of the damage. I hope. One side suspension off eBay, second hand, £750 for the lot. Bargain. Other suspension, £1,050 with the shock absorber, which we don't need, but now we've got a shock absorber which we don't need. Let's get fitting them. Finally, we can start actually fixing things. Starting off with the front right suspension. A nice simple bolt off, bolt on job. And same goes for the left side suspension, which I'm doing here. I definitely think this car's worth getting ice blasted afterwards, just to make it look like brand new, but we can get to that later. Now, all my dad needs to do is put the caliper on and the brake disc, which we should be able to reuse from the front right. Or so we thought.
Any damage?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no! Oh!
And unlucky for me, the front right brake disc had cracked as well. There's no getting away with that. So another brake disc is going to need to be ordered.
Steering rack's arrived. But also, I've got to explain to you why this suspension isn't built up, because this little bracket that holds the brake pipe in position, Bob needs to get access to that area. I think it goes, I don't know. Right, so let's see if we can get this in then.
£1,200 later, and we have a second-hand steering rack. My dad's going to be the one to fit this because he was the one to remove it, so he should know how it fits in.
It's in!
Once he's got it in place, there's 2 bolts each side holding it to the chassis. He's got to tighten them up. Then the track rod end can slide into the new wheel hub on the right hand side.
Yeah, he did!
And he can jump inside the car and connect the steering column to the steering rack. And put the pinch bolt in to hold it all together.
Oh, done! That's fully right. Centre. Fully left. One turn. Normally it goes more than one turn, doesn't
That's
it?
good though, isn't it?
So I bet the steering's really...
Pointy.
One steering rack fitted. And the right side suspension is on as well. Good news.
Now it's the brake pipe, this one. It's a little bit perished.
Where's it perished?
Well, there, because it's not supposed to be that shape, and also it's pulled it down. It should look a bit more like the other one. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Super duper. Let's get it off.
Now, we should be able to save some money repairing this brake pipe as well. My dad's removed it from the car, and then he's going to be able to make a new one. And whilst he does that, I've got these door cards to deal with. You can see they're broken at the top where the airbags have blown out of them. So I've got to unbolt the door card and remove it so I can access the airbag to replace it. And then I'm hoping that I can get the door card repaired and not have to buy a new one.
Yes, Liam, yes. Oh my dear God.
There was loads of bolts holding this door card in place for no reason whatsoever. So whilst I got unbolting all of them, my dad started to make his new brake pipe. First off, he needs to find out how long it needs to be. So he's putting the old one next to it to figure out that length. Then he's using his cutting tool from about 1940 to cut the pipe to length. After that, he needs to slide his fittings onto the pipe. One side of this pipe is already burred out. He's just got to do the other side. He clamps the pipe into this tool, then uses this other tool, again from about 1940, to burr out the edge of the brake pipe. That way, you get the perfect brake fitting, which will fit onto the rubber brake hose that goes to the brake caliper. So we can say bye to this old one. Back at the door card, we've just about removed it. And we're going to be sending this away to the trimmers in hopes that they can repair it and retrim it.
All this is good, but the door is bad. So what are we going to do?
Well, ideally we need to put this on a new door. And I think there's a surprise.
Oh, he's got a new door!
This was £300, but it does have a bit of damage.
Oh.
So, the guy was actually having his car valet parked, don't know where, can't remember where he said where, and the valet driver knocked his wing mirror and did a bit of damage to near where the wing mirror mounts on this
on this door. So I don't know if you can see, look, there's a small little dent there. The valet driver did that, and he claimed through his insurance.
For that little dent?
Yes, because he's a Ferrari owner. That's what Ferrari owners do. Perfection. Right. Perfection only. So I'm gonna fix that when it goes to the body shop. Good news is though, it's Rosso Corsa red, so we don't need to paint the inside of the door. Bad news is, he stripped the whole door out because insurance job, because they wouldn't just replace everything in the door, they would just replace what's needed. So, we've got a job now of changing all of that onto all of this. So whilst me and Liam got onto that, my dad started to slide in his new brake pipe that he made. Now this isn't the correct way of bending brake pipes, but my dad's done it for years and it's worked. As long as you don't kink it, it should be fine. The top side's fitted, but the bottom side we're not sure where it needs to twist or turn, so we'll leave that for later. In the meantime, both door cards are removed because both of them need to go to the trimmers. And I've just about got the old door stripped apart. That door is fully stripped, and that door, I don't think we'll build up just yet because it will have to be repaired and painted, but that is stripped for now. And the good news, loads of parts have arrived, most of them being second hand, which saved us a fair bit of money on this and also allowed us to get the parts quicker in hopes to still get this car done within 7 days. First thing I'm removing is this top arm of the rear suspension. 2 bolts hold it to the chassis, 1 bolt holding it to the wheel hub. This thing is completely bent. So on goes the second hand one, which wasn't too expensive. I'm going to do up the 2 bolts which hold it to the chassis, but leave out the nut and bolt which holds it to the wheel hub, because my next job is the rear towing arm. This bolts directly to the chassis as well. 2 bolts hold that on, and then there's 1 nut and bolt which holds it to the wheel hub. This is an adjustable arm which winds in or outwards, so you can get the perfect wheel alignment on the rear wheels. Now I can fit the new one in place. Nut and bolt it onto the wheel hub, and then slide the 2 bolts in which hold it to the chassis. After that, I can bolt it all up. Next job, I've got to remove the brake disc, which means off comes the brake caliper. Then there's 2 bolts holding the brake disc to the wheel hub, but the handbrake's going to stop me from pulling the disc off. I need to get the handbrake off, the electronic handbrake off, but we need brake pressures to do so, and we've got both front calipers off, which is a bit hard to do, so let's see if it'll come off. The car's not letting me release the electronic handbrake because it's not sensing that I'm actually pressing the brake because there's no brake pressure. But luckily there is a manual override. There's 1 motor on the back which pulls the handbrake caliper tight to activate it. And my dad can put an Allen key in there, twist it, which will loosen off the cable which tightens the handbrake on. This is actually quite a good way of doing it, because then when you go on the track and you get your disc boiling hot, you can put your handbrake on still because the shoes here just expand out onto there and are not going to break your disc or warp your disc because your handbrake isn't clamping to the disc, it's clamping to the inside of it. Pretty clever by Ferrari, but BMW also did it as well. Don't know who did it first. And this disc is completely toast. Cracks in 2 places. But yeah, as you can see, the handbrake part of it is actually in the middle of the disc. To prevent any heat warping, I can slide on a second hand disc, then the brake caliper again, and that should be the rear suspension, all complete and fixed.
Matt Armstrong and his team has asked me to come up to HQ to sort out the new Ferrari that they just bought. The structure on the passenger side front is all damaged, and my job is to put it back so they can put the panels back on it. Let's see what we can do.
It's time. The myth, the man, the legend is here. Bob from the machine shop is going to start welding this on.
You have to figure out where it's going first though, because that's bent.
Yeah.
And usually I measure off that, measure off the opposite side, but the opposite side's all bent, so I can't.
We're gonna have to freestyle the whole thing, like, because at least we know this is in, but yeah, all this is just mounting the wing. So the wing and the headlights could be all cattywampus when we put them in, but there's so much movement and shims on the standard Ferrari stuff that we could actually make it better. So we'll just let Bob figure that out, and whilst Bob's doing that, we're gonna start having a look at the rear quarter. Let's go. This is gonna be a super hard job without any measurement, but we've got no other option, so we're gonna try our best. But the first thing Bob's gonna do is weld on that little brake bracket which holds the brake hose on because once he does that, I'll be able to fit the rest of the suspension on that left-hand side, including the brake. Bob's using a TIG welder for all of this welding because it's aluminium, and it's a lot more specialist than doing the MIG welding, which I've done before. I'm hoping eventually I'll be able to learn how to TIG weld, but right now, Bob is the man for the job. This is really technical stuff. This part here is to hold the wing on. Bob's just going to tack it into place. Then we're going to measure from a fixed point on the left-hand side of the car to the other wing holder and then across diagonally to make sure they both sit in the same spot.
They are the same. They are the same. Whether that's right, we don't know. But I remember the bonnet and the wing lining up still okay on that side.
We're taking reference off that left-hand side, but we are unsure whether that's moved or not. But it's the only thing we can take as reference for now. As for this lower part, we've got no reference to go off there because both sides are bent. So we're just going to go off looks there. And meanwhile, me and my dad are prepping the rear quarter.
Look at that structure, which wasn't needed, but we got it free with the quarter panel, just like you get the whole car free when you buy the engine of the Ferrari.
This quarter panel we managed to buy second hand, and we got it cheap because there's damage in it, but it's more repairable damage than the damage that's on the car at the minute. And now that we've prepped this panel ready, we've got to get the quarter panel which is on the car off. And to do that, I've got to drill out each individual spot weld and rivet which is holding this quarter panel on. And whilst I'm doing that, Bob's continuing to weld the frame at the front of the car. Once the spot welds are drilled out, I've got to get my chisel between the outer panel and the inner panel, whilst my dad is grinding off a few more of the welds which are holding the quarter panel on. We've got to be careful not to damage the panel underneath, because the new quarter panel is going to be mounting to it.
Oh, I enjoyed that bit.
And things are looking good at the front end. The welds are even looking better than Ferrari welds. But now Bob's got to do the same on the other side.
Ferrari! Ferrari! Behind there is a fuel evap system. So if it goes a little bit deeper, we'll go bang.
There was a lot of cutting and destruction going off at this minute, but this had to be done to get this car fixed. We can be a little rough with the existing quarter panel because it is damaged, which does help us remove it.
Side's all prepped now. So I can clamp all this in place, get my measurements right. So we measured that side off this side, so we can measure this side off that side now.
It's looking sweet, man. Yeah. Time update. Last time we did a time update. It is 23:45.
Nice.
So now, Bob gets on with welding on all the frame for the radiator on the right hand side, whilst me and my dad start taking off the remaining part of the quarter panel. The places where we're taking it off from are where there's either spot welds, rivets, or existing welds. So when we fit the new quarter panel back on, there'll be no extra welds in there and should look like OEM, if not better.
At the back as well, there's this bar. Now we managed to get this off eBay as a replacement bar, but we think this is all bent up here. And because the rear quarter panel actually mounts to this bar, which like sits along like that, we're thinking that it could knock the quarter panel out if that is not exactly straight. So all of this rear end has got to be stripped apart. This has got to be painted, and then it's actually tack welded on. These bits are actually welded on to the rail there. Apparently they use this, the company we bought this off, they use this to make copy ones. Now, they don't sell many, so they sold us the actual original one.
This bar at the rear holds quite a lot of stuff. 2 oil coolers, and even the handbrake cable. So my dad's gonna start removing all of this so we can get the old bar off. And as I mentioned, it's actually tack welded on to the rear chassis legs. So my dad's got to grind off those welds there so he can lift it out. So he's kept the brackets in place so we can slide the new one into the exact same place. And this old one was pretty bent up.
Shaking the can of paint.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Tony, it's 1:05 in the morning.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of energy.
We continued on and my dad started painting the new rear bar that's going to be fitted in a moment. Using a bit of heat to speed things up a bit because it was getting to the early hours of the morning and that bar was just about ready to be refitted. This time, not bent. He's going to slide it back into the original brackets, which are on the legs, and then start fitting everything that was originally on the bar back to the new bar. Job done there.
Okay, rear bar is on, but not welded. We just need it just tacking around these brackets there, just to weld it on, because Ferrari, we've found out they like to bolt stuff and then weld it as well. Next step, this bracket, again, also bolted, but with the same time, they like to weld it on as well, hence why there's a hole there, so that's gonna be welded. This bracket needs to go there. This thing's like a whole Lego piece, so yeah, that'll go on there, that'll be welded. But the main event, what I've been doing is this rear quarter and lining it up, getting it ready. So we've got a big moment now where we've got to put it in place, and then I've got to create a join here between the old panel and the new one going on. I've got to make sure this is perfect, else it's going to look well cattywampus.
Time for the new rear quarter to go on. I've prepped the surface, there's no messing up now.
This is what I've been doing.
I've got to slide this on and line it up with all the existing pieces that I've just cut off. As we mentioned, some of this rear quarter come with some structure underneath it, which I've kept on. And I've got to join it to the existing structure underneath the car. But so far, it's lining up pretty well. But I've got to clamp it down first to be sure.
Quarters now on, bolted up to the new frame bit at the back there. It is lining up pretty damn sweet. So I'm going to join it here on this bar right there, which is fine. There was an original Ferrari weld there, which we're going to replace with our own weld, which is going to be, I would say, better, but that would be in my opinion. But the main part here, which I'm worried about, is this area. So we've got the old panel and the new panel, and we've got to join them together without anyone knowing. Line the panel up, clamp it down, and then just literally be as careful as possible with this, run it down the new panel, the old panel, and we should have a perfect join between the two. Let you know there could be some mistakes here because it is 3:20 in the morning now.
So this is the only place where there's going to be a weld where there wasn't before. But the idea is to hide it as good as possible by lining the quarter panels up perfectly, and then once it is welded, the body shop will sand it all down and join it up like you wouldn't even know. Now that I've cut the existing panel, the new panel could go back into place and bolt down, and I'm hoping the gap between the two is as small as possible.
I may have cut it a bit big.
Yeah, it'll take a bit longer, but it'll be alright.
Bob's still going at it. So we just need to make sure everyone goes to the machine shop.
4:45 in the morning.
Is it 4:45?
4:45 and we're going strong.
Yay. This isn't very DIY friendly.
No, not at all.
What this car was meant to be, if it's crashed, finished with, done. Like it ain't meant to, it's meant to fold apart when it crashes because it's all aluminium, dead soft. Fold apart, absorb the impact, get a new Ferrari. Not meant to be fixed. But hey, we're here fixing it. We're doing the impossible.
This bracket used to go here. Obviously it's perished, so we've had to make a new one. So I've grabbed some sheet material and folded it up in the vise. And that's going to go on like that. So I'll tack it on, weld it up, drill a hole, bolt it on, done.
Bob is even making new brackets at the front because we weren't able to get them in time from Ferrari. So we have to say a massive thank you to him and his team at the machine shop. If you guys did want to learn how to weld, then Bob's your guy. I've put a link in the description for the machine shop. But all the quarter panel is now prepped and is just ready, waiting for Bob to weld all the parts that actually need welding into place. And this is the early hours of the morning, and Bob stayed to get this done. What a legend. Now a lot of this quarter panel is welded, but most of the parts that you can see, like those little holes, are going to be for rivets, which we can do once the welding is complete. But right now, he's doing the join between the old panel and the new panel. And whilst this might look obvious that there is a join at the minute, once it is all sanded down and there's a bit of body filler in between, I'm sure you'll never know that the work's been done. And not forgetting the rear bar at the back, which Bob's tack welding now, and all of the other brackets which Ferrari decided to weld on as well. And that was an absolute shift of a day. And it wouldn't have been possible without Bob.
It's officially 7 a.m. Bob has smashed it. Fair play, mate. But now it's time to find out. Moment of truth. Are the panels going to fit? What do you think?
I reckon they'll fit, yeah. I'm confident.
You got confident?
Yeah, I'm definitely confident. Yeah, easy.
Well, fingers crossed, because hopefully we can now get this car built up and finished for the end of this video. Thank you, Bob.
No problem.
Appreciate you as always.
Sorry, bud.
Let's keep going.
This could either go two ways. One way, amazing, we saved a lot of money and the car looks fantastic. The other way, we saved a lot of money, but we didn't save time. Inside here is a DMC body kit for the Ferrari 458, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know how it's going to fit. It's a speciale kit, which includes bonnet, wings, bumper. I think that's about it. But it is carbon fibre, and they warned me that the bumpers may need modification because it's an old mould. I really hope this works because there's a massive kit and it's a huge part of the car. We haven't we don't know what it's going to be like inside.
Liam, for the viewers that don't know, what's the speciale?
Special Ferrari.
So the standard 458 looks like this, but Ferrari made a lighter, more track-focused 458, which looked like this. And this body kit, which we're unboxing now, should hopefully help my 458 look like the Speciale. But we have had bad experiences with fiberglass panels before. Luckily, some of these panels are carbon fiber.
Whoa, yeah, that is nice.
And when DMC sent me the kit, they said we shouldn't have any problems with the carbon fiber panels, but the other panels may need modification.
First step, exposed carbon fibre wings. They do look proper race car. If a full car was like that, imagine how cool it would look.
Now we want to test fit all of these panels before we begin painting all of the new aluminium frame that Bob's been fitting over the past day. And it's going to be hard to know if it doesn't fit, whether the panel's the problem or we put the frame in the wrong place, because they're aftermarket panels.
First test.
Let's see how the door lines up to the wing.
That ain't that bad. It could do with coming in a bit, couldn't it? Just coming in. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So far, so good. Now, even if we bought standard Ferrari parts, it looks like they may need modification and a few shims and spaces to get them to fit right. Because when we remove the standard ones, Ferrari have put spaces in there anyway. So we have to take that in mind.
It's not perfect, but we think we could get that perfect once all the panels are painted. But that's like give us enough confidence to say, right, okay, this is pretty much in the right place. That bonnet can go and be used. The next thing is the bumper, which DMC did message me and say it may need modification, but if it needs loads of modifications, of course, we're not a body shop. We ain't even professionals. We somehow just winged it to having a place like this with loads of tools and stuff. So having to modify a fiberglass bumper, it's going to be a tricky one for us. So if it needs a lot of work, we might just put a standard one on. Let's see how the Speciale one fits.
Out comes the fiberglass bumper, which I have to say looks really good, but I'm pretty skeptical on how this is going to fit. Let's try and line it up with the wings that we've just fitted, but immediately I can see where the bolt holes are meant to line up with the front panel are slightly off. The holes line up, but to get the panel to sit flat onto the holes will be a whole different challenge. It's almost like the mould has shrunk a bit.
Oh, it would have looked lovely.
Oh, that would have looked really, really good.
It would have looked good, apart from it doesn't fit.
Like we could make that fit if we spent about 4 months on it. Oh, we're gonna need a stock bumper, but I ain't offended because stock bumper does look classy, doesn't it? But that looks proper aggressive, doesn't it?
It's a shame. Why do all fiberglass body kits never fit?
If it was plastic, it'd be you'd all day you'd do it. Happy with wing, happy with bonnet, not happy with bumper. We're gonna need a stock bumper. So all of this does need painting underneath. I'm not gonna paint that until we've got the bumper. I feel that's the right thing. But because Bob's done all the welding back here, we can actually start putting all this suspension back on and hopefully have 4 wheels going in a straight line. And that's a good start. Then we'll address the rear quarter situation after that. Let's go. Okay, let's finish off this suspension. We found that the front right brake disc is broken, so I had to order another one, which I managed to get second hand off eBay. My dad's fitted that into place, then the caliper could go back on, which we're reusing. Tighten that down, then put the brake hose back into the caliper. Job done there. Old disc, well and truly finished. New disc, £900, second hand. Another new carbon disc. Luckily, we've been able to get loads of second-hand parts for this car, so we've saved money where we could. But these discs are pretty expensive regardless. Back on goes the brake caliper. And then the brake hose in the back of the caliper. Okay, both front suspension on. The wiring just needs some attention. We just need to repair the wiring for the brake wear sensor, which is this. This goes into the brake pads, and when the brake pads wear thin, breaks the circuit, puts a light on the dash saying you need to repair your brake pads or change them. But that'll be all the suspension on all 4 wheels. Looking good. Right, so the radiators, they slot in here, but we want to paint this before we put them in, and we don't want to paint it until we get the front bumper. So what we can do in the meantime is build up the radiator pack, and on this side it actually wasn't too bad apart from that hole there in the radiator. But we do think this hole might be fixable in our own way. My dad's using a skittle bag and some duct tape to block off one side of the radiator, then we're going to see how badly it leaks. Oh, it's coming out like a water feature! So because this radiator is plastic, my dad thinks he might be able to fix it with plastic. He's using a soldering iron and a zip tie to melt into the hole where the water's leaking out of the radiator. This might work.
What do you think to the repair?
To be honest, it looks pretty close to the rest of it. Just looks like you've dropped a bit of Targa seal on it.
I think we can clean it up with a file.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if I like that.
Do that?
It's memories.
Oh, little one.
A little one. Almost. Just like a little pinhole round here, yeah. Right, bit more repair. My dad continued with the zip tie, melted it into the hole, before finally testing it again, where we think it works.
I think it's alright.
Okay, I think we're committed to this one being okay. That's good, saved a bit of dosh. Now, let's build up the left hand one, which was a bit more perished. One radiator pack ready to go in, but the other one, there's no fixing that. So I've got to dismantle this radiator pack, taking off the fan off the back and the aircon condenser off the front, and I've bought a second-hand condenser and a brand new radiator. Right now I'm bolting the condenser to the new radiator, then I'm going to attempt to use the old fan because I know it works, it's just a little twisted up. After that, the shrouding needs to bolt to it. But everything's looking good and we should have 2 complete radiator packs now. But we can't quite fit them to the car just yet because we need to test fit the new bumper. Here's our front bumper, right? I looked it on eBay, I thought it was exactly the same. Turns out, it is exactly the same, but different. Here's our front bumper for the old one, which come off it. This is made out of plastic. This one, made out of fiberglass, more rigid. This one is for a road car. This one is for the challenge race car, and it has slight differences. One of them being it was cheaper, £1,500, not bad. But you can see here, look, it's completely flat. And on here, we've got a cutout, and that's for the bonnet lock. Because the bonnet lock is on the road car, but on the race car, it has latches like the SVJ to remove it. So first thing we're gonna have to do before we do anything is cut out that so we can test fit this bumper. So
We're not sending it back as soon as we do this. So Liam's got the Dremel out and he's going to cut out the original bumper to use it as a stencil to cut our new bumper out. He's overlaying onto it. Then he's going to mark it with a pen so he knows where to cut. And then get the Dremel out again so we can cut the hole for where the bonnet lock goes. Somehow we've ended up with another fiberglass bumper. But because it's a genuine Ferrari one, I've got more hope. So now that Liam's cut the bumper up, we're going to slide it onto the car and see how it lines up with the aftermarket carbon wings. And so far, so good. It's pretty close. It ain't bad, is it? It's not.
No, it's better than the other one.
It's not far off. It ain't far. I think we can make it work. It's a lot less work than the other one. There's grills to go in, like here and stuff, but I think we might be able to make it work. Here we go, 2 headlights. This one has a broken tab, but it's all I could find.
Whoa.
Oh, it's got a little scrape on it as well. Could probably polish that off. And the left side one is a new headlight. Headlights are never cheap to buy, but it's something we couldn't avoid with this Ferrari. We've just got to hope both of them work, because as we know, the newer the car, sometimes they need code into it. New headlights are in. I'm not going to put the bumper on for a very good reason, which you're going to see in a minute. We don't want any more bad news, which we'll explain in a minute. So we want to see if the headlights actually work, because these were not cheap. Let's get the new battery, which was £120, on the car and test these headlights. A new battery is a must. The old one was completely dead, and it wasn't the most expensive thing in the world.
We're on.
Oh! Yes! Sides. Yes! They work.
They look quite cool as well.
They do look good. That's good. Good news. They're working, and look at this for good news as well. Check this out. This car come with a warranty card. Not that we'll have it anymore. But inside here, I've got the full service history of the car, which you don't normally get with an auction car. Look, we've got like 2015, 2016, every time it's had a service. And the last service it had in June, the 12th of June, 2024. And when I put the registration plate of the 458 into car vertical, I could actually see that this car was crashed. Yeah, it was August. So it got serviced in June, and then 2 months later, crashed and marked as a category S, which is structural damage. I can also see every time this car's had an ownership change, and I'm actually the 3rd owner. And every time the registration plate's been changed. The car vertical report is really clean, apart from the damage, of course. Yeah, and on top of that, look at that, 2 keys as well. But that's really good to know. And also, I can see that everything lines up, like all the mileage and everything like that, with car vertical. This car is now scarred for life, because no matter what we do with this car, when you put the registration plate into car vertical, we'll always see that it's a crash damaged car. And you guys will be able to see that too. Sometimes, if it is a crash damaged car, you might even be able to see the photos of when the car was auctioned off at the car crash auction website, like this car that's on screen now. So, if you want to check your car out, click the link in the description box below and use code MATT for discount on that check to see if your car has had any hidden history or any crazy previous ownerships or any mileage fraud or it's ever been exported. You can find it all out with Car Vertical with the link in the description box below. Right. What's next? Bearing in mind now, we're on the 5th day. Well, technically we're on the 6th day. It's just clicked over onto the 6th day. We just clicked over onto the 6th day of working on this car, and it really doesn't look like we've got far. This quarter panel still needs to be all plug welded on. Literally, it's just tacked on for now, but it is on. It's got to be repaired. There's rivets that's got to be put in and everything like that. It's not fully on just yet. This is where it's going to stay. It just needs to be properly secure. What I want to do now is, just because I don't want any more bad news, I'm going to hang that door. And we'll just see where the door lines up with that Corsa, because that could be really bad. Right, please let this line up. We know all these hinges have been molested, so they have moved a lot. So, like, let's not jump to conclusions straight away.
very close.
But it's really far away from that wing. We then had to try and move the hinges and work out what's gone wrong with this fitment. Have we fitted the quarter panel wrong? Have we fitted the front end wrong? Or was it the door hinges which were just completely bent? It's hard to know. Oh my god, did we just waste 5 days? We tried everything to get this door in line, and eventually we came to a conclusion. Okay, door's on, which is good, and it does open and it does close. But I didn't follow my own rules. I didn't order door hinges whenever you have a damaged door, or a bonnet hinge when you have a damaged bonnet, because if you remember, this door was pushed so far back into the quarter we couldn't get it off, and it was also pushed so far in, and we think that these hinges are actually bent. We think they're bent, and because that's bent, we're fighting with it. At the minute, the quarter sits quite proud here. Yes, it's not fully on yet, but it sits quite proud away there, and then the door sits away there. So the door almost needs to go inwards like that. This is like the really, really tough part of like building the cars, is lining it all up. It's fairly easy to repair it. It's lining them all up which gets the hardest part and time consuming. This door needs to go like that. It's on maximum adjustment already. So we definitely think this hinge has been pushed in because we've pulled it all the way out, and then this one is all the way in. So it's definitely been whacked there, which is what happened in the accident. What I want to see now, out of interest, is now we've moved this door to where we think the gap between the door and the quarter is fine. I want to see where the wing sits now, between the wing and the door. Right, that actually ain't bad. The door is in. Door is in, but that's what we thought. It backs up our theory, but the actual line ain't bad, is it? Whilst we're on the high note, it would be nice to see this car roll in. And the old wheels were absolutely bad, and I've got some new ones. I just really, really hope that they're gonna fit. Let's get them out. Incoming the wheels! I got genuine Ferrari alloys. Speciale alloys, because I thought we was gonna go for the old Speciale look. But I thought, worst case, if we're not, the wheels are still cool. We managed to get the wheels off eBay. We got the tyres from Wheelmania. Thank you to Wheelmania for the PS4s. They look sick. Let's get these on. If these wheels fit and the car can then be taken off the axle stands, it's safe to say we've made some progress. And so far, they're looking good. Let's take the car off the jacks. And there it is. The wheels are on. And the bad news is, we put the headlights in and then quickly realised that the headlight here, to line up to that hole there, it needs to go all the way over. It needs to go all the way over that way. So that must mean that this frame is too far that way. And because we had never had any measurements, it was literally pure guesswork. But again, it's not structural. It is just to mount the wings and the radiators. And because we're not confident where this actually is, without getting the readings off another Ferrari, or maybe Ferrari will give us it, probably not. We don't want to paint this bar. We don't want to paint any of this, because if we have to cut it, then we're going to have to repaint it again. And because we can't paint it, we don't want to put the radiator pack in place, because if we put the radiator pack in place, we have to take it back out to paint it. And the bumper isn't on, because we know everything's got to come over. The only good news is that at the back, the quarter panel seems all good. We've just got to tack it on with all the spot welds. This is all got to be fixed and painted at the body shop, which is no problem at all. And then we just need the bumper at the rear. We've progressed. It's on 4 wheels. The suspension is fixed. It's just down to the finishing touches. The seat belts haven't come back. The door cards haven't come back. We were trying to work on 5 days. It wasn't possible. There's no seats in it yet. Really? We're about halfway there, I think. But this car should be so sick when it's done. We have bought all the parts, and including the car, we should be able to figure out whether this car was worth the purchase or not. To the whiteboard. Pricing time on day 6. The 458 cost me £58,000, making it the cheapest one I could ever find. And if you've been tallying up the parts cost so far, you would know that it has cost £24,078 so far, which brings the total cost right now to £82,076. And the cheapest one on the internet right now is £126,000. It's a black one, not a red one. Well, it's partly red. And I know we still have 2 days left of the 7 days that I wanted to be able to rebuild this thing. But we're gonna need more parts and more welding. And today is the weekend, so we're gonna have to call it early. But if you're excited, as I am, to see the 458 rebuild, now's a great time to hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
We're gonna show Ed China how it's done.
Ed, what do you think of my brake pipe? Let me know in the comments.
Like a drug that I just can't deny.